Waking up with you for the thousandth time. Sipping coffee and juice, reading the New York Times. Yeah. You told me I'm the only one, but now you think you've had your fun. You hope I had a good time. Goodbye, we're done. I got you inside my head, playing every moment over and over again. I thought we'd survive instead. You're a heartbreaker and I'm heartbroken. Waking up with him before the sun. We pour coffee and then read the Chicago Sun. Yeah. He tells me that I've changed his life, and now he wants me as his wife.
Hey there, Chris.
Well, we had a good run, was fun, goodbye. I still got you inside my head, playing every moment over and over again. I thought we'd survive instead. You're making heartbreakers of the heartbroken. You're making heartbreakers of the heartbroken. You know, he was a good man. I should have warned him. I should have warned him that I'm an imposter. How does it feel siring so many monsters? And all I am.
You know, it's really a good idea is when you remember to put yourself on mute so no one can hear you while you're like trying to get stuff done. To take yourself off of mute because this is a professional. This is a professional thing, I can tell you. Oh my goodness! Hey, Chris, how you doing? Yeah. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the TTRPG Theater. I am your host, Rob, otherwise known as Phantom NJ. For the second time because you couldn't hear me the first time, though if you read lips, you're seeing this all over again. It is Thursday night. It is a week in which my voice is still kind of iffy. I have not been drinking nearly enough water. And there's Lord Gazumba. Jay, good to see you. We will be going up until Lord Gazumba goes live, at which point not only will we be raiding into them, but I will be playing on stream with him tonight in another adventure. Yeah, Chris, I saw that. You know something? Bring her along. Usually there's at least one empty chair at the table, like a seat that you can sit in. If there is room for her, we can check to make sure that no one has a problem with her joining us. I really honestly don't anticipate a problem. Obviously, it's better if she has an actual ticket for the game. So please do keep trying. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. I don't care if I have 7 players for the game. I don't care. It's just I want to make sure that the people who got tickets that they're okay with it. Though considering I think we know most of them, I don't anticipate too much of a problem. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hooah! Hey, Captain Mymorph, good to see you too. So yeah, we are going to go tonight until probably about 6:45ish, 6:50ish, whenever Jay goes live. At which point we'll be raiding in, and I will be hopping over on Zoom to Jay's game and be playing tonight. Gam the Confident returns this evening, and see how that goes. Should be a good night. Should be a good evening of gaming. Hey, Lord Forth, good to see you. We do have our standard giveaway going on thanks to Troll Lord Games, sponsor of this channel, maker of Castle Crusades and other fine products, including amazing adventures. $10 coupon towards any digital product off the Troll Lord Games site. Speaking of which, I won one over the weekend, so I need to use mine and figure out. I think there's one of the new aired expansions, codex expansions that are out that I need. I think the Dwarven one is there. There might be more than one, but that's okay. I'll just get the one that I need and wait until the next time I win one. Now, what do we want to talk about? Unless you've been hiding under a rock for the last week, you know that this past weekend was the St. Jude's fundraiser, 8th annual St. Jude's fundraiser. You'll also know that we did a number on that. Our goal. Our goal was to beat last year's $32,121, a number that probably is going to be etched in my memory for quite a long time, up until the point where I need to, memorize next year's number. And, we not only beat it, we beat it by 4,000 and change at last point. I think it was something like $4,040 or something like that. It might be like 4,100. Hey, Touch of Evil, good to see you. 10 stream streak. That is awesome. And personally speaking, on this channel, I set a goal of $10,000, and that's with me matching the first 5,000, and we hit $10,120, and I'm over the moon about that. It's really exciting. It is, I was. Oh man, Lord, if only I wish that would be amazing. But yeah, it was something else, and what was really really cool, and I'd asked people to, who are probably going to make and they were going to make donations already, but to please do it here so that we could get more eyes and more people paying attention, get a wider variety of people paying attention to different streams and such. And we had north of 1,000. We were like at $1,400 before the first stream, before my first stream on Friday night. By the end of it, we were at like 1,890 of the 5,000 that I was looking to hit before I matched. And and then thanks to everybody who chipped in, and thanks to the anonymous donor who finished off the 5,000. We got to 5,120, and then I did the match, so 10,120, and suddenly we were a third of the way to we were because of the other streams that had already gone, we were already better than a third of the way to the goal. And that was just Friday, that was just Friday night, Thursday and Friday, the streams that went. So that was fantastic. And then, Saturday, there was a whole great group of streams. And then Sunday morning, we finished off well, actually, I'm sorry. It was Sunday. I say a third of the way. That's not true, because it was Sunday morning was when we finished off the $10,000. So it was a long weekend. It was a long weekend, and then I had to go back and why I thought I had turned that timer off. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. Yeah, Sunday morning. By the time Sunday morning came, we were doing really, really well, and then Sunday morning, had the second stream and hit the 5,000 and did the match, and then people just kept blowing it away. It was great to see. We were by the time we reached the Sunday night retrospective stream, we were already at 26,000, closing in on 27,000, and between that and again the anonymous donation, we blew right past it and went straight in overdrive, and suddenly another $4,000 beyond that was on the board. It was wild. It was wild to watch. $36,000 raised in really 3 days, 3.5 days. I mean, we had J-Stream. I think we had 2 streams on Thursday night because Disorderly Dice was supposed to go on Wednesday, but they ended up having a bunch of sickness, so they weren't able to go. So really, I mean, it was mostly in 3 days, or 3 full days worth of streams, and man, the community never ceases to amaze me. They really don't. Right. Yeah, Game Master Eric. Really, really cool addition to the grouping. It was pretty cool getting a chance to talk to him. Friday night, I have to give a shout out to, two people in particular. Dave over at Guild Superior was one of the first people to volunteer. He was looking to figure out which of my games he could play in, and found out Friday was available and was happy to do it. And then Amanda, Show Me the Dice. I ended up playing a game last week, or last Thursday with, or not last Thursday, the Thursday before with her on Jay's game, and she volunteered, and she brought Cherry Blossom with her, and I just had 3 players, and it was interesting doing a stream with only 3 players. I don't remember the last time I had. I plan on. I think I've already thanked her like 2, 3, 4, 5 times in chat, but I'm happy to do it again. But she brought Gianna Cherry Blossom with her, and 3 people. It was as good a game as you can have. We had a hell of a lot of fun. A lot of role play, a bunch of shenanigans, as one would expect and hope for, and there were also encounters too. So we had pretty much everything you can have in a D&D game in that group. And then of course my Sunday morning group, the Righteous Hands, they're the closest thing I have to a regular group in this campaign. They've gone more than anyone, and we've had kind of a little bit of a rotating door in terms of the 6th spot. I mean, I'm no problem running with just 5 of them, but life issues have made the 6th spot a bit of a rotation. And Chad Vamp Wickman filled in, and he was his normal tremendous self, and my dice absolutely hated his character. And granted, he was a little bit, he was about a level behind everybody else, and probably not as, not as geared as the others. But it's a good thing that I don't use crit tables because he got smacked with natural 20s on at least 3 different occasions. And that's max damage. And it was to the point where after the first combat, they healed him up from like, I think, single digits to just four hit points shy of full. And, his hit point totals, they'll have it little over half their possible hit points at minimum. Well, they're going to have max hit points at first level. So, it's not like that they're low, anyone has low hit points. Even the wizards are going to have decent hit points compared to their max. He went all the way back down to 0. He was out cold by the end of the fight and didn't kill him, didn't kill the character, but came close. So yeah, it was a really good weekend on that end. I have so many. There's so many people who contributed. Thanks to Trollard Games for providing the the gift cards for for the giveaways for the streams. So many people showed up. The numbers were tremendous. The chat was rolling on both games. I'm not gonna lie. When Anna was gushing about the Friday night game, I was tickled because it feels good hearing that somebody there were people who really enjoyed the Friday night game because my Sunday this Sunday group is a bit of a given. I know what I've got with them. The Friday night group was something a little different, and it was a wild, fun time. I honestly wasn't sure we were getting out of the tavern, and honestly, I was kind of okay with that because they were having fun. The audience was responding to it, and that's basically that is all I needed to know. But yeah, so all that it was a great weekend. It kind of like everything you kind of hoped it would be. We hit all our goals. So many groups. It was interesting watching some of the streams setting their goal and then having to raise their goal because they kept hitting it. I think Marquee Gaming changed their goal like 2 or 3 times during one stream while I was watching because they kept hitting the previous number. So that gives you an idea of how things were, how things were going, and I tried to watch, tried to make sure that I kept my energy level, watching as much of the games as I could. Of course, running the Friday night game and then waking up in the morning after not sleeping all that much, waking up early in the morning to play the reverse dungeon game with ever mysterious Tim running it. Hey, my Uso, good to see you. That game, oh man, that game is something else. It's we never quite know what we're going to what to expect, and I think we kind of had a little bit of our revenge on Tim for having us play at the ungodly hour of 8 a.m. Eastern. Mind you, it's 8 a.m. Eastern, and that's brutal for those of us on the East Coast. Not all of the players in that game were on the East Coast, so for some it was more brutal than others. But we kind of got our revenge in that, we're playing a group of characters that initially started off as goblins and leaders of a goblin tribe. Thanks to a dark force. Every time we die, we morph into something else. So none of us are goblins anymore. There's a whole lot of internal intrigue, and pardon the pun, but we were a bunch of chaos goblins on Saturday. The plotting against each other was as thick as it had ever been, and I think Tim was having a little issue corralling us to do what the Dark Force wanted us all to be doing. So that was kind of funny. You know, I got to have a little bit of PvP and oh, not so much PvP, but you know, putting you know my character Three Skin, putting one of his rivals down, knowing that the rival is going to come back to life as something else. But you know, just in the meantime, just getting a little bit of you know fun revenge in for some of the shenanigans that had been pulled, and it was a good time. It was exhausting. By the time it was over, I was like, okay. I put on. I don't remember what stream we you know rated into, but I think I watched for about 15 minutes and then went and took a nap because I was so done. Hey Keith, good to see you. Hope everything's going well. Um, but yeah, it was an amazing weekend. I am you know I'm very thankful not only to the community, but I have to admit I'm lucky in that my work is very big on community service, so I was able to take that Friday off in order to. Originally, it was going to be to run a game, but even then, you know, I was able to hang out on other streams and you know make sure that I was prepped and ready to go for when the Friday night game. Thanks, Keith. I really appreciate that. So that you know when we got started on Friday, everything was ready. I was more ready for Friday than I ever got had been that I can think of. And then, of course, the last 10 minutes before the stream, there's all the little things that you realize that you had forgotten, despite the fact that I had a laundry list of things that I had gotten accomplished way ahead of time. It seems to always be the case. No matter how prepped I am, there's always something. So yeah, it was you know it was a big weekend. It was a great weekend. Looking forward to panicking next year as to how we're going to hit that. I think it was at last check it was something like 36,159. Might even be a little more than that now. That's a big number. That's a big number that we're gonna have to try to hit next year. But you know, oh well, we're gonna do our level best and you know shoot for the moon and see how far we get. Um, of course, the you know as I pointed out, the amusing thing is every year we have a little bit of are we going to be able to hit that number? It seems so big, and then we not only hit the number, we end up blowing past it, and then the next year repeat we're going to be hit that number. It's so big, and then we go blow past it, and it's like there's got to come a point where you know we're going to need to make sure we keep growing because otherwise every year that's just going to become more and more difficult. Not that I'm complaining. You know, it's great to have that kind of goal in mind. Um, but now that it's over, uh, you know, now it's over. Now we've you know done some reflecting on the weekend that was. Man, you know, February's almost done already. I was worried about this. You know, I was already starting to panic about this when Paige came, and Paige was what the you know the second full weekend of January or something like that. I was like, this is going to go really really fast, and of course I had a vacation in between Paige and the fundraiser. Right, yeah, Rascal. I mean, hell, yeah, yes, I definitely had to eat Gary Con. Yeah, so oh my goodness, Gary Con prep. It's amazing. It's going to be, you know, Gary Con is what 3 weeks from now. Let's see. Yeah, nope. Gary Con the first day of games is 3 weeks from today. No pressure, no panic. Yep, yep, whatever. It is 2 weeks and 6 days until you know basically fly out to Gary Con and arrive and you know, I've been trying to catch up and keep abreast of who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. You know, and it's sad because there are some people who are not going to be there that normally I look forward to seeing, but I know that there are others who will be there for the first time or people that, you know, I've only gotten to see once and if I've forgotten your face, I apologize. There's some people that I've seen often enough on stream and in person that I recognize them. I am terrible with faces to name sometimes. So if I have a quizzical look on my face, just tell me who you are, because it's nothing personal. It's just I have a better chance of remembering your phone number than I do matching your face to your name. It's the way my brain has always been. I don't I don't know why that happens. I'm one of those people who has to. They have prep on how to meet somebody and make sure you remember their name. And I've tried it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I literally just forget to use the tools that have been made available to me in terms of skills and tricks and whatever for remembering names. And so it doesn't help that I am awful. I am awful at small talk. So it's like I need to have like deep conversations with people before it sticks. That helps. And there. I mean, I'll be honest with you, there have been times when I've been in the middle of a deep conversation with someone and I've completely forgotten what their name is, and I will just sit there, hoping that it will come to me. But it happens. But Gary Con is coming. And I've got to prep, it's one of those things where I need to prep my 3 sessions, and I also need to prep my Tower of Gygax session. I need to choose which of the adventures or which of the scenarios I'm going to use for Tower of Gygax, and then figure out what I need to run that scenario, what I need to bring with me. I've made some decisions as far as like things that I am and am not going to do to make life easier on myself. As much as I love the idea of painting while I'm at GaryCon, it never happens. It never really, really ever happens, which kind of sucks because I've got, dicery. Yeah, that's not a concern. It's a matter of making sure that I need to make sure that I have the pre-gens done ahead of time. Now, a lot of the players that I have already have characters in the campaign, so I kind of need to go and figure out which ones they're playing and make sure that they're updated so that they're current for the GaryCon sessions. Then I need to fill in some blanks and have some other pre-gens available for the people who are not already part of the campaign. The few names that I don't recognize. What's weird is there are names that I recognize that I'm pretty sure that I've had played before, but I don't know or don't remember exactly who they are. And it could just be my brain playing tricks on me, saying the names look familiar, but they're really not. Like I know DM Chris is in 2 of my games. I know Lexfire, who you see in Jay's channel occasionally. Lexfire is in all 3 of my sessions, so that's awesome. Let's see. Yep, George. And George is usually there with his wife, who doesn't play, or at least hasn't played with us, so I'm not entirely sure if she plays. Yeah, unfortunately, Lee's kind of in the same boat. DM Chris's wife wasn't able to get tickets for her, but we'll see what we can do. But I've got the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games all at 9 a.m. Local time. So that'll be 9 a.m. Central. I've got Chris, who plays Thraskin in my game. Scottish Jeff is in my Thursday game as well. Chris is also in my Friday game. Chris, and I'm talking Thraskin, not to mention DM Chris. Fosco, Ed Lopez, is in my Friday game. And as well, again, Lex Fire, and there's others that I don't remember off the top of my head. Doc Shoulder is in my, is one of the people in my Saturday game. So, that's cool. It's going to be, it's going to be a good time. We're gonna have a good time, and come on by. If there's a spot and people, if there's an open spot and people or open chair, and the others aren't, the others are open to it. I don't mind running for more than 6. I don't want to go too large, just so. Yeah. Oh yeah, Brad. Please bring Sir it on in just in case. Just in case, it never hurts. The Thursday game is the one that I only have one person on the waiting list for. There are multiple people on the waiting list for both the Friday and the Saturday game. And then, the Thursday, as far as Thursday goes, actually, sometime during that weekend, I'm not actually, because I've got Thursday. I know I signed up for a Tower Gygax, and Friday, I think I signed up for Tower Gygax. And then at some point during that weekend, I am running Tower Gygax, and I need to prep for that as well. Maybe what I should do is, if I'm going to do any painting, figure out a mini or two that I want to paint while I'm there, and just make sure that I have the paints that I want to use for that particular one, and make it a bit more simple instead of like bringing the lot of them as far as the paints go, because I have quite a few paints. Make it a bit easier on myself so that I do have something for downtime. Because the nice thing about staying at the vacation club is I've got a lot of space, and I have a big ass table that is comfortable for painting at. So it's a good relaxation technique. Though my hope is this year, now that I'm feeling better about walking around and such, that I'm able to spend a lot more time with people and not conserving energy. Alexandria, I am not going to PAX East. PAX East is in Boston. I've been to PAX. I don't know how PAX East compares to PAX Unplugged, because PAX Unplugged is in Philly, and I went there the 1 year. Granted, there were still COVID restrictions, so things were a little weird in terms of, I didn't mind the COVID restrictions. They just made things a little bit more inconvenient. Okay, so PAX East is smaller than PAX Unplugged. I may have to look into that. I'd probably need to talk to someone I know regarding PAX East to get an idea. Someone who knows me, and knows what I'm about, to get an idea of what they think of PAX East. Only because PAX Unplugged for me was, and I fully admit that I did not prep for PAX Unplugged. Right. I it's that's coming back to me. But as far as PAX Unplugged, I admit that I didn't quite do the level of planning that I normally do for for GaryCon and such for PAX Unplugged. But from a tabletop perspective, it didn't have this, for as far as tabletop RPG stuff, it didn't have the same kind of feel for me. Like I was down in the indie rooms, especially where the Vaesen game was being run. I tried to get into one of the D&D 5e, the official the games that they were running. That whole system that they had, and I don't know if it was specifically for that year or what was going on, but that was a complete and utter mess. So, and the fact that PAX East would be a bigger investment. I mean, PAX Unplugged is literally 2 hours away from me. I could drive down to PAX Unplugged if I want to do like just a couple of days, stay overnight at a hotel and just basically pay for parking for one overnight stay and do a couple of days of PAX Unplugged. PAX East is a bigger investment, and I worry about whether or not I would enjoy, how much I would enjoy myself, because if I hadn't met up with some friends over at PAX Unplugged, that really would have been a lost weekend. On my own, I did not have fun. I did not enjoy the vendor hall. Was really, really weird. The map for it was terrible. It felt like the digital map was upside down. I don't remember if it was a digital map or the paper map or whatever it was. It was like upside. You had to like kind of change the way you were looking at it to figure out where everything was. They had like a numbering system that matched nothing. So you almost had to, for the years at PAX Unplugged, you literally had to find basically the big tables or the big vendors, figure out where they were, and then try to find what you were looking for in relation to the big vendors, which was kind of awful. And the fact that the vendor hall, closed so quickly or so early, it seemed, each day. And again, the fact that they were still in COVID protocols for it made life a little more, made it a little more difficult. But I don't think, my dissatisfaction with the entire thing happened long before I started feeling the effects of having to do the extra walking around, because they were, making sure people entered in one area, exited the hall in another area, and so on and so forth. GaryCon is a definite. I'm still on the fence for Page for next year. I'm kind of waiting to see how many people I know are at Page, and I'll probably, if it comes down to it, and there are enough people that to hang out with, I might do Page. I had more fun this year at Page than I did the previous year. Part of it was probably because I was feeling a little better, and two, there's a lot of people that I don't get to see or don't necessarily get to spend a lot of time with, even at GaryCon, who I got to spend a lot more time with at Page, which was cool. Of course, the bigger problem is the seating at Page. If I do Page again, I really need to make sure that I bring my own chair, because that is not comfortable at all. And honestly, dealing with the weather with regards to Page is a pain in the ass. It's very cool that Page is only 2 hours away from me by car. I can actually, if the weather is good, I can actually make it even faster than that. Especially if I can convince the thing to try to not send me through Philadelphia to get there, because the mapping applications were stupid driving home. The weather makes it such a crapshoot with it being in January, which puts the damper on it. And the parking situation at Page is terrible. The Thursday parking is great. Being there for the first day is fantastic. After that, the idea that I need to go there the very first thing in the morning, like be there for like the 8 o'clock opening, just to have a parking space that isn't in freaking Timbuktu is painful. The one day I got lucky in that I got tossed all the way over to the side parking lot, and the side parking lot happens to be, where I was. Instead of having to walk to the front door, I walked to the side door, which just happens to be where the Greyhawk, all the Greyhawk people were assembled, because that was the Greyhawk area, so that there was somebody who knew me who was willing to open the door for me. Alexandria, do me a favor, send me send me a whisper with the link if you wanted to post a link. The bot has it set so that only VIPs can send links. I'd be happy to post it for you. And let me bring up my Twitch page so that I see the whisper when you send it, because otherwise that's not helpful at all. Hit tab. All right, cool. There we go. But yeah, I Page is going to. I'm not committing to Page just yet. I'm going to do a bit of a wait and see on that one, and if there's enough people, I will send it, or I will join and go. Let's see. But yeah, no, I mean, GaryCon is coming up quick. There are other conventions as time goes on that I want to try to make my way to. I'd like to eventually go to Gamehole Con because I've heard that's really good. One of these years, maybe. It might be nice to go down to ReaperCon. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. There used to be more people that I know that were down at ReaperCon, but there's a lot of people that I am not in communication with anymore, or at least not on a regular basis. So I don't even know if they're still going. And ReaperCon seemed like it would be a lot of fun, mostly because I do have a lot of Reaper miniatures, and I do like painting, and it would be. I think it would be something cool to experience once. But yeah, I want to go I'd love to go to more cons, and one of the nice things is with work is after this year I will have an anniversary, which will give me another week of PTO for work. So, is ReaperCon Labor Day weekend? Yeah, that is tough. Ugh. I mean, for me it's not the biggest deal, but I would just have to make sure that I took time off on either end so that I've got extra time spent. Wow, that's that is something. 50 by 50 space, 20 tables, and 3,000 books. Where is EggCon? Is that also in Wisconsin? Okay. That's kind of what I figured with the egg, was. It's Heidi's. Okay. I if I ever go to EggCon, I kind of need to tease. I don't know that I've actually ever met Heidi, but Heidi and her husband were supposed to have been in my game at GaryCon a couple of years ago. After they got the day after they got married. I don't know what they were thinking signing up for that game, but it was also the day where it snowed Friday into Saturday, and I think they just said screw it. Yeah, the GaSumbaCon is virtual Greyhawk Con. It was it was a very, very weird thing looking at my player list that one year at GaryCon and seeing the name Gygax as one of my players, because it had her maiden name and we call it her married name under it. I'm like, oh. So not the person energy to run it. In-person cons are a pain in the ass, even on a small scale. I can attest to how much of a pain in the ass that is to do. It's not fun. I wouldn't want to do that on any kind of scale ever again. I'll leave that to others to figure out. I believe that. And the weird, what the weird thing is, I honestly, I was like, that is, I wasn't even panicked about it. I was literally disappointed when, and again, when I found out that they were actually getting married that weekend, and then the snow, I kind of figured that it wasn't going to happen. I'll admit I was disappointed because that would have been really cool. Hey, Greyhawk Mike, good to see you. That would have been an interesting, one of those interesting little feathers in the cap to have, to be able to say that, hey, listen, this person was in my game and at a convention. That's freaking cool. I don't care. It really, really would have been a really cool thing. But, life happens, weather happens, the snow happens, and partying happens. And the interesting thing about this, I'm excited this year. One of the things I'm excited this year is the fact that my Saturday game has 4 people I definitely know, and 2 people I'm pretty sure I know. Where last year at GaryCon, my Saturday game, I didn't know any of the people in the Saturday game. And not only that, that was the one game that got stuck at an 8 a.m. start and was brutal. We were, the players and myself, none of us were ready for that game to start. It took a little bit. We found everybody enjoyed themselves by the end, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't take maybe the first half hour, 40 minutes of that session for us to find our footing. Because I don't think any of us were really awake when that game first started. Now I'm in a completely different headspace, especially when I think about it. Now the difference between this year and last year is, now I've got my CPAP machine for my sleep apnea, which has led me to being a lot more awake, a lot more aware, and the difference has been tremendous. And I'm looking forward to taking advantage of that energy and being able to be a hell of a lot more present during GaryCon, because it's not. I mean, last year at GaryCon, part of the other problem was, I was taking my breaks to try to conserve energy and making sure that I didn't wear myself out and I was able to be present. And then I kind of lost track of where everybody was. So I didn't get to spend nearly as much time with people as the con went on. Like the Wednesday night, everybody was around. We had the round tables stream with Jay, and there were people hanging out together. And then as the weekend went on, I kind of lost track of where everybody was. So other than my games, I was alone a lot more, and now I kind of got an idea of where everything is happening. I'm definitely in a different space, so I'm looking forward to the convention. Again, we are all right, Jay. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. I'm in a completely different headspace, different energy levels, and again, it is 3 weeks from today that the first sessions of GaryCon. By this point, it'll already be the evening of the first day. I've already done some gaming, run my first of my sessions. Hey, Longshot, and hey, Savage Splendor. Exclamation point ticket to enter the giveaway. We are going to be raiding into Jay probably as soon as he goes live, because I am playing in Jay's game this evening. Savage, it is crazy that it's that soon, but I called this back when Page was happening, when we were getting ready to go down to Page, because I knew that we had New Year's hit, then we had Page, and then I had my vacation, and then basically a one full week or 10 days later was the the fundraiser. And then, now that the fundraiser is done, the next thing is GaryCon. It's going to be April before we know it. So I've got to figure out when my next Righteous Hand session is going to be. And then I need to also figure out some other sessions because I want to have more groups going for this year for the Embers of Empire. I've got, what's after getting, it's only a break in the sense that, and 15 stream streak, that's awesome. It's only a break in the sense that there's no hard dates on the calendar for a while. Break is more like, instead of break, it's more like, okay, panic, because now we're a full third of the year, or well, a full quarter of the year after GaryCon has gone, and what have I done? How many streams have I actually had, or how many games have I actually run besides the con games? I mean, my 3 sessions at GaryCon, I think will equal the total number of sessions I've run outside of GaryCon. Partially because I do not run games at Page for reasons. I've beaten that topic to death. I don't feel the need to do it again. But yeah. I mean, GaryCon is coming up really, really fast, and I can't wait. I've got more planning to do. I think my goal is to try to get I'd like to get some of it done this weekend. At least making sure that the people who I know are going to be there have their characters ready, and get some of the other pre-gens ready that I'm going to need for it. And this way, when we're heading, as we get closer, I can spend more time consolidating information on the campaign, because there's a lot of things going on, and I need to make sure that I'm keeping track of who all the players are, who all the characters are, which characters belong to which player, what their current status is, and get more organized. I need to get more organized, because when I first started this campaign, I was just kind of jotting down notes, and I've got plenty of notes, and I've got all the streams saved. I don't really have the stuff from the conventions. I remember a little bit from the 1 or 2 GaryCons that were part of the. I think the last GaryCon was the only one that was technically part of the campaign. I don't remember about the year prior. I'd have to take a look at the dates. So that's not quite as big a deal. But making sure that I have all that set so I can start figuring out groupings and bringing in additional players and having more sessions going. But the organization needs to happen before anything else can. Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be, there's a lot going on. There always is. And we deal with it as best we can, try to get everything organized. It's never been one of my strongest points. Maybe when I was younger and it was like I was hyper focused on something, but now it feels like there's so many things that I'm trying to focus on that it's not nearly as achievable. I am having a good laugh because I'm like looking at the live channels, and the suggested streams for me outside of the followed channels are all World of Warcraft, because the early access for the new expansion is tonight. Started about a little less than an hour ago. I was like, I finally signed back up for World of Warcraft again, and I was like, well, guys, have fun with early access. I got D&D stuff and streaming stuff to do tonight. Savage, I can't. It is hard enough for me with AI dealing with it at work where there are places where they want us to try to use it. I am so ridiculously conflicted about it. I mean, it drives me crazy that every tool I use tries to get me to do AI stuff. Where it's like, I no, stop bothering me. Like if I wanted to use it, I'd turn it on and I'd use it. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to sit there and have to figure out the prompts that I need to get the thing to do that I want in the first place. And that's cool. I wish I was in that situation. As a matter of fact, I've resisted his work for as long as possible. Just because there to me there are so many ethical considerations to go with it that I'm not. It's bugging me. It really is. Standard generative AI is enough a problem. AI imagery, images and stuff. I literally won't use products that use AI generated images, and you will never hear me call it AI artwork, ever. I don't care. I don't care how pretty something kind of looks. Nope. I have enough friends in my life who are artists who have gotten screwed because of it directly, and not the I know someone who knows someone who knew someone who had heard from somebody else about it. No, I've got friends who've been impacted by it directly, and I'm not going to go that route ever. I toyed with it before I toyed with it briefly before I found out all the problems with it, and that was that. All right, we are Jay's live, so we are going to end the stream. I will be playing on Jay's stream tonight, so we'll be switching over in a little bit. I am going to close the giveaway in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing giveaway. Drawing a winner. Long shot. Congratulations. Hey, Ty. Good to see you. We're going to be, you caught us just in time to get ready to raid into Lord Gazumba. Thank you, everyone. We are, long shot. I will get you, I'll send it to you in Discord probably tonight after Jay's stream. Thank you, everyone, for dropping in. Thank you there's quite a few of you who jumped in who had stream streaks going on, which is really, really cool. I appreciate each and every single one of you watching, lurking, chatting, whatever. It was good to see you all. We will be back next week as the road to GaryCon continues. And hang on for the raid to Lord Gazumba, where I will be playing, once again, Gom the Confident. All right, looks like we have 16 people getting ready to raid. That is go in. That is awesome. See you on the flip side. We are raiding now.